Hi everyone, do you want to be able to comfortably play in every key across the entire fretboard on the guitar? That's what we're doing today. Now in order to do that, you need to know the major scale, all of its shapes, and how to shift those from key to key. So our goal today is to make sure that you know all of these major scale shapes and how to apply them. By the way, if you want the tabs from today's video lesson as well as a whole bunch of other video lessons I have online, click the link down below in the description and you can get those free. They're in Guitar Pro and PDF formats. First, let's define what the major scale is. It's a series of intervals made up of whole steps and half steps. Now you may know it from the traditional sound, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You may know it that way. But the way it's defined is it's a whole step, half step, then another whole step, and a half step. Since we're going to use the 3-note per string major scale system, what we need to do is first define a major scale on one string. So let's take the E string and we'll begin on G. That's note 1, then we go up a whole step to note 2, then a whole step up to note 3, and then note 4 is only a half step away. Note 5 is a whole step, note 6 is a whole step, and note 7 is a whole step. And then we get back to the octave with a half step. The whole thing one more time. So you can hear what I was playing in this other shape, but I just played it on one single string. The reason that's important is because now I'm going to take a major scale shape and apply it to each one of those notes on this 6th string that we just played. And the way this works is you would apply shape number 1 to note number 1, shape number 2 to note number 2, shape number 3 to note number 3, and so on and so forth. Let me first play shape number 1 on note number 1, so it's G in this case. So as you can see, that's 3 notes per string. It's more symmetrical. It's easier to memorize that way. It's also easier to play than a series of 2 or 3 notes like this version. So now we'll look at shape number 2. That will be found on note number 2. In this case, that's going to be A. Note number 3 is going to be B on the 7th fret. G, A, B. It's our 3rd note in the major scale on that single string. So the shape 3 looks like this. Now we go up a half step to note number 4, which is C. And by the way, when you do this in other keys, you may not have to think about the notes themselves so much because this is pattern based. So once you get the patterns down, you can shift the patterns very quickly. But in this case, we're just naming the notes. So C is our 4th note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's shape number 4. Note number 5 is on the D, 10th fret, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I had to go up a whole step to get to D. Here's shape number 5. Note number 6 is going to be E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shape number 6, or pattern number 6, looks like this. Number 7 is going to be on the F sharp, 14th fret. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shape 7 looks like this. Then we're back to the G on the 15th fret, which would be shape 1. So it all just starts over again. Let me play through all of these quicker so that you can see this. 1. 2. 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 'We started on the G with shape 1 and we ended up on this high B at the end of shape 7. We hit every fret possible in the key of G. If you want to continue to play higher, you simply start it over with the G, shape 1, right here on the 15th fret, and so on and so forth. Now, one thing you might have noticed as we were going through these is if I'm playing shape 1 right here, shape 7 is right behind it. It's a half step away because 1 is 8. So I could just shift back a half step and play shape 7 right there. As a matter of fact, I tend to recommend that for students to start to piece these together. If I'm going up 7, then shift up and come down box 1. It helps you see how they overlap. I'm in no way saying that you need to play all 7 of these shapes in order to play comfortably in any key. That is definitely not the case. You can choose one shape, or you could choose a couple of shapes that you simply think work better for your hands and use those and play those in the appropriate keys. You do not have to play all 7, but you've got the option. And if you've got the time to put in to memorize these and learn them and get them under your fingers, it makes every key possible in every position. Let's talk about shifting keys. If I don't want to play in G anymore, and I want to play in A, I simply treat A as the 1 of my new key. So I put shape number 1 on the A. It automatically adds the sharps that are needed. I don't have to think about it. It's in the key of A. Key of A has 3 sharps, and that was automatically taken care of because I played the appropriate major scale shape. If I need to continue up the fretboard, you simply treat this as the 1 and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you put all the appropriate shapes that we just went through on those notes, referencing the A as our root. Let's say you're playing in a difficult key that's got tons of sharps like F sharp major, and it's not on the dots, so it's not as comfortable to your eyes when you're looking at the fretboard. Well, use maybe just box 1 right there. If you're really good at box 1, you don't need to play all those other shapes. Those are simply available if you want to, and you get them down and it's not that hard to connect them anymore. But if you're playing over a difficult key, you can always just go back to something that you're comfortable with, box 1, box 2, whatever it is, and put it on that particular note. Now, I always say guitar scales are not going to make you a great player. You need to play music to become a great player. But guitar scales do show us the roadmap of the notes that are in a particular key that we're playing in, so they are extremely useful. In order to make these scale shapes musical for yourself, you need to play them over backing tracks. I would pull up a backing track in the key of G major, and I would only practice scale shape number 1 over that for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And then maybe the next day I would pull up the same G major backing track and then practice scale shape number 2 and get accustomed to that for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm not a big fan of practicing these just over a metronome when you have all these backing tracks available online where you can already practice them with a beat, but also that harmonic context so you can be musical with them. Let's say you really have no interest in learning 7 scale shapes right now, but you just want to get that first one down and start using that for soloing purposes or melodic development. Pull up a backing track and practice it in G. The next day, you pull up a backing track, you practice scale shape 1 in A. The next day in F. Always choose a different key because then the pattern is becoming ingrained in your head and not so much its location on the fretboard. I hope today's video's lesson was helpful in explaining how these 7 major scale shapes work. If you have any questions about it, please make sure to put a comment down below and I'll respond. And if you enjoyed today's content, please make sure to hit that like button. It really does help my channel. And please subscribe if you will. A great way to support my channel is if you're already buying guitar strings or picks or guitars or amps, whatever it may be, shop through my Sweetwater affiliate links down below. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help support my channel in a small way. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.